Okay, welcome back to another session of Wolf Past Echoes. This is 13. Lex Gray here. So, I've put the ATM house rule into the AI's instructions so it knows about it. If you want to take a snapshot of what you see on the left side, that is what the ATM house rule is. Basically, it is aspect the moment, compresses all external aspects into one spur of the moment choice instead of saving or having multiples ongoing through an entire scene. I made a whole video about it in my previous video, so feel free to check that out. Now, I was recording for a little bit, but I had a corrupt video issue, so I'm going to run through what happened. It wasn't much. It was like 3 or 4 responses. Now, I say let's begin session 13. I leave the chamber. Wolf leaves the chamber and meets up with Jory. And so we exit the tribunal chamber, scroll, which I added as a stunt down here, temporary stunt. The doors close behind us, and I speak with Jory. UK, he asks, scanning your face, did they give you anything or take something instead? A red haze glows from distant watchfires. The city beyond the gates hums quiet. And then I decide to speak with Jory and exchange notes on what happened. So we walk slowly beneath black stone archways, whispering of court messengers echo behind you. You share what was said, your parents' names, tribunal's reaction, your acceptance of the Ashford name. Our new name is, well, Wolf of Ashford. Last name is Renhart. George's face tightens as he listens. So they wiped your family for opposing the ritual. They dragged you back just to give you your burden again. He sighs, resting a hand on your shoulder. You didn't walk out of the chamber free, Wolf. You walked out with a name that might weigh more than the realms. And then I basically inquired about updating my burden, my trouble, which is now bound by ash and expectation because that kind of is more thematically uh, relevant for the current story. I carried the burden of others was the previous one, which was still relevant, but I prefer this new one based on this list of recommendations right here. And then I chose to bound it, and then it's been logged. And I reminded the AI to update to just have one sentence. I was getting a little tired of this one because it takes up a lot of tokens. So now let's try this. These are going to be more compressed. Wolf and Jory exchange information while they exit the courtyard. The atmosphere tense but quiet, while with the city beyond Ember watch waiting for the next move. Okay, now let's do our first ATM. So we are leaving the courtyard, and let's ask what is our current location? What is our current location? You are in the outer courtyard number watch, just beyond the tribunal chamber, beneath the fortress walls. Okay. And what do we see in front of us? You see a path leading from the courtyard toward the city's inner gates, lined with stone archways, dim torches, and a few robed figures moving between watch posts. Okay. So, how big is the city and what is its name? I think it's Ember. I just want to clarify. How big is the city? What's the name? The surrounding city, Emberwatch, is medium-sized fortified known as Haldred's Ring, built in a circular pattern around the fortress itself. Okay, so hmm, let's say obviously our new name will, the return of the Ashword name will spread fast. Story hack, let's say that the return of the Ashford name is news spreads fast. Ashford. I figured that's all I can really catch off that. The word of Ashwin name's return spreads quickly through the Helldrith rings, drawing attention from the guards, scribes, and nearby citizens. So Wolf whispers to Jory that he does not necessarily think his parents are just dead. So I'm thinking his parents are still alive, or Wolf is just, I don't know, desperate. Jory listens quietly and replies that if the court erased records once, they might have hidden more than just the names. Right. So, story hack. While Wolf and Jory are speaking, somebody rather aggressively approaches Wolf specifically. Joy. Jory. Story hack accepted. While Wolf and Jory speak, a cloaked figure approaches rapidly and stops directly at Wolf with a clear tension in his stance. Okay? Let's say, who is this cloaked figure? And let's say they reveal their face. Like I said, because our name, Ashford, spreads, we're going to get some attention. The cloaked figure pulls back the hood, revealing a young woman with sharp features and red inked markings along her jaw. Saying she's a member of the Ember Archives and claims Wolf has something that belongs to her family. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is our first real dip into this new lineage, acceptance of the lineage. Okay, so does Jory attempt to intervene? Steps forward cautiously, placing his hand on his staff but says nothing yet, watching the woman carefully for signs of threat. Okay, do we recognize her? You don't recognize her, and her face triggers no memory connection to your past. All right. Well, hmm. I want to do a notice roll to see if I can spot anybody else that dresses similar to her in the shadows or in the distance. Wolf is thinking she is not alone, willing to just walk up to us like this. It could be a clan, a cult, overcome difficult +4 to spot any figures. All right, overcome. Our notice is 2. Nothing really. Oh, I don't miss a thing. Can I invoke my aspect? I don't miss a thing. All right, so we'll do this. That's +4 then. I spent the fate point. All right, so here we go. +4 in this roll. We're shooting for 2. That's 5. Total of 5. All right. With total of 5, you succeed with style. Spot 2 similar dressed figures watching from an alley nearby rooftop. Uh-oh. Interesting. Okay. Before Wolf speaks, he attempts to gesture to Jory with his eyes, hinting that there's someone at the rooftop. Hint. Jory nods slightly, shifting his stance to adjust his angle toward the rooftop while keeping his focus on the woman. Wolf finally replies to the woman, and what is it that I have exactly? The woman answers calmly that the sealed scroll bearing your family's names was forged from a relic once belonging to her bloodline and by her lineage. She intends to reclaim it. Interesting. Okay, so Wolf attempts to reply, saying that he just got this back after returning to his very home that is now burnt down to the ground after 30 plus years of absence, recently discovering his lineage. and you expect him just to return his only family heirloom. She replies that she does not expect to give it freely, only to acknowledge that if others can also carry pieces of his history, and that truth may not be as clean as the tribunal may seem. Hmm. Do I need to roll overcome in order to persuade her that I may keep the scroll? I'm thinking this will be rapport or empathy, perhaps. Yes, roll overcome using rapport or will with difficulty of good to persuade her to let you keep the scroll. So we'll be using. I don't want to invoke anything right now, but let's get the scroller. Let's get the roller out. We're doing will +3 definitely. We'll do that. So +3 on this roll. Oh, that's a 1. Shoot. Okay. Total of 1. With a total of 1, you failed, and she responds coldly that if you do not give it up, then she will take it by other means. Jory steps in and says, "Is that a threat?" She glances at Jory and replies that it is a claim, not a threat, but once she's prepared to act, it ignored. Wolf attempts to impress her by saying he sees her allies in the shadows in the rooftop, and that I am no stranger to encountering the darkness, just to scare her, if anything. She narrows her eyes as you speak, clearly unsettled that you spotted her back up, and responds more cautiously, asking what you truly intend to do with the scroll. Well, Wolf says that he is still working on that. Actually, I don't know. What is Wolf attempting to do with the scroll? Because, oh, let's use our ATM here. ATM, what can we withdraw? How much do we have in our savings account? Choice one. Choose one. Attention of ancestry. Invoke with fate point. Surrounded by not surprised. Invoke for a scroll that echoes. Invoke with fate point. Okay. Choose one to revoke now. Tension of ancestry. Let's do that. Choice one. We'll do that. Now we're down to one. You invoke tension with a fate point, gaining +2 to your next action tied to your heritage or standing. I explained to her that this scroll is the only thing I have that can lead me to finding my parents. She hesitates for a moment, then says, if that's true, she will not stop you now, but warns that others may not be as patient. Let's once again try to roll to convince her instead of allowing it to happen. This will be rapport or will. Probably will. Roll rapport will overcome, difficulty +3, ending +2 for invoked. All right. +2 on the invoke, and then we have +3, so +5 total. Okay, well, we got 5. We got 5 total. With a total of 5, you succeed with style. She nods, backing off and saying you may keep the scroll for now, but she won't be watching. Okay. Asks, who is she exactly? Who are you with? She replies her name is Balessa, and she serves the Ember Archives, a sect within the court. Oh, that's right. He said that. Tasked with preserving and retrieving lost lineage relics. Hmm. Okay. Let's say that Wolf missed that detail because his mind is elsewhere, and he stops her, asking if these archives can be explored. by the public or by appointment. She answers that the Emperor Archives is not open to the public, but certain individuals of recognized lineage, such as you, may request limited access under court oversight. Wholf clarifies the court. Are you speaking of the one I just spoke to back in the chamber? Confirms yes, the same Emperor court, though the archives operate under a separate authority within this structure. Wholf attempts to make a deal with her, asking if you let me and my friend Jory enter the archives to research my lineage and possibly the whereabouts of my parents, I will give you the scroll back in exchange for the access. Agrees under one condition that the court scribe accompanies you at all times during your access. Wholf looks to Jory for approval or an opinion. If it gets you close to the truth without more blood, then it's worth the oversight. Wholf says we agree. Okay, well, this is getting interesting. So now we're going to be going to the library. Blessa nods in agreement, and and says she will arrange access to the archives within 2 days under the conditions set. Well, Jory complains about the time it will take, saying that now, because of Wolf's new identity, they'll be targeted by individuals such as her. Is there a safe place to stay here as we wait? Vanessa suggests a neutral inn near the East Tower known as the Hollow Ember, often used by visiting court affiliates. We ask her where we should meet her in 2 days' time before we depart to the tavern. She tells you to meet her at the outer archive gate just after midday 2 days from now. We both nod and make our way to the East Tower, finding this inn. We both nod and travel through the quiet streets toward the East Tower, arriving at the Hollow Ember Inn just before nightfall. We take another look around to make sure we're not being followed due to our new responsibilities. Roll notice against a difficulty pair 2 determines one's trailing you. All right, notice. I will invoke. I don't miss a thing without really. Actually, no, never mind. I'm out of fate points. Let's do. All right, yeah, no, it's just flat roll +2. Wait, where's my notice at? There it is, +2. Oh, we got 3. Perfect. Roll of 3. Oh, I should have used Jory as an assist. That could have been with style. With a total of 3, you succeed and confirm that no one appears to be following you through the streets to the inn. We will enter the inn and find someone to inquire about 2 separate rooms. The innkeeper greets you and confirms 2 rooms are available upstairs for 3 silver per night. Okay. Whoops. We both pay for our rooms separately and proceed upstairs into those rooms. But Jory does mention something very important before closing for the night. Joey. Jory pauses and says that whatever you find in the archives, it may change more than just your past. It could alter your future too. Wolf jokingly says that seems to be the norm nowadays. Jory smirks slightly, nods once, and quietly shuts his door for the night. Okay. We will also enter our room and inspect it for anything out of the ordinary, just in case. Simple and clean with a quick nose check and average +1. No signs of tampering are found. Okay, so notice plus, let's see, +2. Oh, 0. Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry, -1 because, yeah, we rolled +2. Total of -1. You find nothing suspicious, but you may have missed something small or subtle in the room. Okay. As we attempt to close for the night, we hear some footsteps creaking up to our door. Uh-oh, what could this be? You hear faint, deliberate footsteps just beyond the door, slow and pausing as if someone's listening or preparing. Wolf quietly gets up and walks to his daggers that are on the table. Do I need to roll for this for stealth? Let's see if I can choose stealth from the list. I think I probably will. Do I have stealth? I do have stealth. No roll is needed to quickly retrieve your daggers unless you wish to open the door. No. Wolf will wait patiently on the side of the door with his daggers ready. You wait in the silent door, footsteps stopping just beyond it, then a faint knock taps 3 times, soft and deliberate. Okay. Wolf says one word. Speak. Wholf. Sorry, I keep saying wolf. It's Wholf. A muffled voice replies, Ashword or not, you opened something that should not have been touched, followed by silence. Oh, Ashword or not, you opened something that should have not have been touched. Suddenly, the door gets kicked down, and Wolf will attempt to jump back. Roll effects to defend against the sudden breach. Difficulty +2 to avoid door impact, potential injury. All right, athletics +2. Looking at my stunts here, I will use my stunt, Dancer in Close Quarters, for a +2. All right, let's roll for it. We're using athletics, which is also +2, so +4 total. Okay, we got 4. Total of 4. With a total of 4, you succeed and quickly evade the door's impact, landing poised as a shadow figure enters the short blade drawn. What outfit are they wearing? Khakis. Let's see. The figure wears a dark hooded travel cloak with a red embroidery, similar to the Ember Archive markings, but unmarked by rank. Wolf speaks directly at the threat and says, And who are you supposed to be? Intruder says, "A warning, nothing more," and raises their blade in defensive posture without advancing yet. Wholf says, "Is this all for the scroll? Damn scroll." But it's not about the scroll, it's about what it unlocks. Oh, so the scroll has now become a significant uh, aspect item, almost. It's really more than I thought. Okay. Wholf says, "Intriguing," and waits for the threat to attack. The figure lunges forward with a short slash aim at your side. Roll defend using fight. Okay, so we'll use fight, which is +4. I will also use, let's see, Hunter's Patience because I was ready. So that'll be a +2 on a +4. So that's +6. That's +9 total. Okay. Let's see here. Oops, sorry guys, one wrong key. I will use my stunt Hunter's Patience as I was ready in defense mode, granting a +2 once per scene with a total roll of +9. With 12-9, you defend with style, fully avoiding the attack and gaining a boost. Perfect opening. Okay. I will use the perfect opening boost and attack back with my daggers. Roll fight to attack, adding to the boost plus for 2. All right. So we're doing +6 total on this attack. All right, I'll take it. Total of 6 as we strike back with our daggers. You hit with the style, inflicting a 4 shift hit, getting the boost thrown off balance. Even with that good hit, let's say because earlier in this room we failed to spot anything with a -1 roll, let's say it now bites us in the ass. I want this to be challenging. Because of your earlier found notes, second figure emerges from the shadows behind you, striking you from behind a blind spot. Will defend. Oh, okay, there we go. So that's 2. Defend. That'll be fight because we're tanking it. So +4. Oh, 2. Okay. Total of 2. And let's say Jory now enters the scene from the front door, seeing what happens. All right. You take 1 shift hit from the surprise attack and burst in from the hallway with the staff in hand as he prepares to act. All right, so we have 1 stress. Whose turn is it now? Whose whose phone is it now? Whose turn is it anyways? It's Jory's turn, and he prepares to create an advantage using his staff to disorient both attackers. You control him. Go for it. Jory is his character, not mine. Joy uses Lore to create an advantage and succeeds with a 4, creating aspect arcane disruption, 1 free invoke. I will use that distraction to strike the individual behind me. Roll fight +2 from the arcane. So we have +6 total. That's +8. Total of 8. You deal 6 shift hits, severely injuring the second attacker, knocking them hard into the wall, nailing incapacitated. Okay. Now, does Jory or the first attacker strike first at each other? The first attacker reacts next, turning the clash with Jory, forcing the defend with athletics against it. Difficulty of 3. Can I assist Jory with a intimidation? Yes, you may roll provoke to create an advantage and draw the attention away from Jory. Provoke. I don't have provoke. It's going to be unranked. Okay, so we're rolling flat roll +2. Ah, -1. Okay. I do not have revoke provoke. I rolled a -1. With a -1, you fail to draw the attacker's attention. Jory must defend alone against a strike. How does he do? Jory rolls effects, gets total 3, matching the attack and successfully defending without taking damage. What is the status of the second attacker behind me? Is badly wounded, barely conscious, is slumped against the wall, but still breathing. Okay. I will attempt to lunge and strike the first attacker near the door. That's fight. Roll fight to attack the attacker. Difficulty +3. Declare any bonus of stunt if used. I'm just doing a straight fight. That's 4. Total of 4. Total of 4. All right. With a total of 4, you succeed and deal 1 shift hit, lightly wounding the attacker, pushing them back into a defense stance. George shouts at the attacker, asking, "Who sent you?" George. George of the Jungle bursts through the window. The attacker growls through gritted teeth. "No one sends us. We follow the ember left behind. The braces for the next strike." Interesting. Okay, let's see. Uh, I will prepare to defend. I get a +2, I think. The attacker lunges at you with renewed focus. Rolling to defend using fight or athletics. Defend goes +3, so we have +4. That's 6 total. Total of 6. With total of 6 to defend with style. Avoid the strike completely and gain a new boost. Turned momentum. Okay. I will invoke turned momentum and strike back. Turned momentum. Let's just roll for it. So that's fight +4. That's going to be 6 again. A total of 6. Total of 6. You boost invoke. You deliver a strong force shift hit, dropping the first attacker to their knees and forcing them to surrender. All right. Wholf tells Jory to close the door. Well, the door is actually, never mind. The door is actually completely broken. Wholf tells Jory to keep an eye on the second attacker who is still unconscious, and Wholf will interrogate the first attacker, Dory. If she remembers, Jory nods and moves to secure the unconscious one while Wholf stands over the first attacker, who coughs and waits in silence, ready for questioning. ATM. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. Revealed Ashward blood demands answers within fate point. Wounded in the corner. Yep, I'll use that one. It's free. Eyes beyond the walls. Okay. I will invoke option two as I hold my blade against his neck and ask him, what does this scroll unlock exactly? With wounded corner invoked, the attacker cracks and replies to the scroll hold lineage seals linked to a hidden vault beneath Ashward. One the court no longer controls. Ooh. Do you mean below the burnt village of my home? He nods and says, yes, the vault lies buried under the ruins of Ashward. Sealed below the cleansing and now known only to blood hairs. Hmm. Jory catches some of that and believes that perhaps something, whatever's below the village, may also hold a connection to the Dark Realms. Jory quietly says it makes sense. If the court feared what was buried, it might be linked to the mirror place or the force that tried to consume your home. Now, Wholf then says, then what to do with you two? Huh. The conscious attacker, breathing heavily, says that they were told not to kill you, only to test if you're truly bore the blood and would defend it. Wholf lowers his blade and steps back. Well, did we match your expectations? Wallflowers his blade steps back. I'm going to redo that one. Wholf lowers his blade and steps back. Did we match your expectations? The attacker nods slowly. You carry it well. Astra lives again, then slumps back, spent but alive. All right. So then, for a comedic moment, the innkeeper is standing outside the door with his hands up in disbelief, asking what the hell just happened, with some patrons behind him looking over his shoulders. Thought I'd give a little comedic ending to this episode session. The innkeeper blurts out, do I even want to know what kind of noble house carries this much baggage? As a few stunned patrons peer nervously from behind him. All right, let's close the session off here. Okay, let's close session 13 and summarize. All right, so while it does that, that's really it for session 13. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching. This was actually pretty good. We had some story development. We had some this not too long of an encounter, and then a kind of light-hearted comedic ending, which I thought would be a good little addition. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.